Hey everyone, Egman here with another video, and I hope you guys are all having a good Friday. We got some new info on the new expansion sets coming out now this next May, but they got the new leaders and also updated rulings for how these Unison cards work, and also they updated the Unison cards. So we're going to go over all those. Apparently they're a little different. I remember kind of how they used to be in the placeholder images, but we're just going to go over these cards in general. But let's go over the little blurb that they put on their page today. We'd like to thank our fans for your constant support and understanding during the situation. While we have pushed back the release of the expansion sets, we have some exciting reveals to tide you over. They put the two new leader cards in it, and then also, as they said, that they changed the Unison cards' abilities a little bit from what they originally showed. But here's the preliminary Q&A for these cards. So. Question 1, if you activate Unison cards -1 skill, can you activate its +2 skill later in the same turn? Nope, you can't. So these are activating technically once per turns, so you can't, just do both in the same turn, which makes sense because you don't want to be able to say, +1. And both these you can only do one of as well, so you can't just keep doing the +1. But, so that's something as well. Pretty obvious, but needs to be said. Question 2, can you have a Unison card with 2 markers on it? Can you activate its -3 skill? No, you cannot. So same thing if you only have 1 on here. You can't play the -2. During a battle when your Unison cards is being attacked, can you combo? No, you can't. During battles where your Unison cards are attacked, there's no defense step. So this is actually pretty interesting. So when you swing on a Unison card, there's no defense step. You can't combo, which is also important. Like you can't activate like Sensu Bean or anything like that. There's no like active battle for you to activate any of that stuff. So that's really interesting. You also can't. It's interesting to have like a battle where you can't like do arrival things as well. So I think that will be like a kind of a way to balance it, right? Because if you're playing against an opponent that wants to like arrival something, but you still want to be able to gain value from like your leader from swinging onto somewhere, you can just swing on their Unison card, and then you get your swing and your +1, but they don't get the ability to like arrival something or what have you. So I think that's a really interesting way to balance it. And then during battles where your Unison card is attacking, can you combo? So yes, so there's the offensive step for these, so you can combo when you're attacking with it, just not on defense. And then if the skills on your Unison cards in your Unison area are negated, are the markers placed on that card removed? No, they are not. So that's neat. I wouldn't expect they would either. There's also 2 more little blurbs that they put out. Question, do you take life when your Unison card is attacked and loses the battle? And then do you send a Unison card that has been attacked and lost battle to the drop area? No, a marker is removed for each damage it takes. So if a card has a strike type, like double strike or triple strike, remove the Unison card remove markers from the Unison card equal to the amount of life damage the card whipped out when attacking a leader card. And then when it runs out of markers, it's placed in the owner's drop area. So if you have this Go Tanks out, and you only have 2 energy or two tokens on it, and they swing double strike on it, it takes both damage and you get rid of it. So that's how that works. And then can you attack Unison cards that are in active mode? Yes. So they're kind of like mini leaders in that sense too. And that's kind of how I felt like that would work. I don't know. I don't really know how like something like a critical keyword could work with this. So I'm not surprised that's the case, but it just means like I feel like double strike is probably going to be better in more cases than critical when doing deck building. But so that's most of this. And also, if you guys don't remember how these guys get tokens, is that when you have it has specific energy cost, and then you can pay as much as you want. So when you play this Go Tanks, you have to play at least 2 red. But if you pay like 2 more energy when you play it, it starts off with 4 tokens. So that's how all this works. And you can only have 1 Unison card. And then I feel like I'd have to go back and check, but I feel like there's a way you can like discard 1 from your hand and add tokens to it as well. But there's also the video, and I'll like the release video for it, and maybe I have to rewatch that. But let's talk about the cards. So let's first talk about Go Tanks. So when your leader card is decreased by a skill, it gets plus 10k power for duration of the turn. This auto is not once per turn either, so you can keep boosting your leader's ability or power. And this isn't what is it? Yeah, this additionally is not once per turn or on your opponent's turn or your turn. It's on either player's turn. So it just means like which more means like there's protection against your opponent trying to lower the energy of your leader. So if you're playing like the old like yellow baby stuff, then if they're trying to use like the baby to take their own life and neg your leader, then you actually are getting the boost every time, which strictly means they just can't do that play anymore. They shouldn't be doing that play anymore. And then also activating for one or +1, you choose up to one card in your life and add to your hand. Then choose up to one of your leader cards gets plus or minus 5k power for the turn. So this having self-awakening on here is really interesting, and also your leader technically gets plus 5k when you do this, so you get a +1 card advantage and 5k on your leader, so that's nice. And then the -2, choose one of your leader cards gets minus 5k power for the turn. So once again, it just technically gets plus 10k or plus 5k because it cancels out. And look at your opponent's hand, which is bonkers. And then choose up to one multicolored battle card with 10k power or less in it, and then place it in an owner's drop area. So this is a pretty strong effect for sure. And I mean, worst case, like for 2 energy, and I don't know how like counterplays work because these aren't battle cards, but strictly if you're just using 2 red energy to give your leader a plus 5k boost, and then also being able to look at your opponent's hand and get rid of what card, like that's already value, I think. So I think this card's just good, even if you just like pay 2 energy, use its -2 and do that. Like you can actually like use its minus or swing with it, so you have a 15k attacker, use its -2, give your leader plus 5k, and look at your opponent's hand, and then you're done. So I think that's a really interesting 2 energy play, and I think this one's pretty good. And the leader goat with it is the Vegeta. It's a Saiyan and a Universe 7, which is nice, and it's red. And auto when this card attacks, draw 1. And this card and the other card has a really interesting awakening condition. So it's either when your life is at 4 or less, or your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you have a red Unison card in play with a specified energy cost of 2. You may draw 2 cards, choose cards in your life, and add them to your hand until you have 6 life left, and flip this card over. So this pretty much means that you can't awaken on 8 with this guy, which I think is all right. You have to go down to 6. So if you're playing really defensive, there's that. So which pretty much means like this is the first 2 damage you take is pretty much free because you have to take it anyways when you awaken. So I think that's a really interesting way to do it. And then on the front side, auto once per turn when this card attacks, draw 1, and also auto once per turn when this card's power is increased by a skill, gains dual attack for the duration of the turn. So you just use this go tanks, and then let's say you go second. So let's say let's say you go second with this X. So turn 3, you're able to you play your go tanks for 2 or 3 energy. You get its boost, and then use its ability to choose a card in your life. You also don't have to like put a card in your life. You just say choose up to 1. So worst case, you can always just give this can just always just give your leader a plus 5k to it. You don't have to actually take the card. You can choose 0. So then you do that. Then this becomes a 20k, and then you get dual attack. So it seems interesting. Leader is more lackluster than the Unison card, but let's go to the Topo one. That one is the one I'm kind of more excited about, and I think a lot of other people are too. So let's go back to this Vegeta Unison of Fury. It's really interesting that it's also Vegeta is the Unison card for this card, or for this expansion set, but here we are. So it has active main once per turn. Choose this card or one of your battle cards, switch to rest mode, add a marker to this card. So that's the only way you can get markers with this. It doesn't have any plus abilities. But -1 active main, your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy cost greater than their current energy until the end of their next turn. So that's a really great effect, being able to prevent them from like if you play this on turn 2 and then use its -1, then your opponent can't they can't like arrival stuff out or cheat stuff out. Especially like if you go like first, and so you do this on turn 2 and use its -1, then they can't use they're pretty much stuck on like 2 energy guys, and if you're able to keep it going, then lock them out from cheating out bigger dudes for the rest of the game. Also, for -3 active main, choose up to one of your opponent's energy, switch to rest mode. This card gains plus 5k power, double strike, and dual attack for the duration of the turn. This is, I don't know, this one I'm not as happy, like this one's not as good in my opinion, but only because you have to like switching your opponent's energy rest mode is great for technically free. But to have this ability go when this card has the dual attack and double strike, you have to have 4 tokens on this guy because you need to have 1 remaining. So I almost wish this was like a -2, but I guess it's like if it was only the plus 5k and double strike and dual attack, I could see it being a -2, but it's not. So we have that. Last, we have the topo. So once again, when this card attacks, draw 1, and then it also has the same ability of when your life is at 4 or less, or you have a yellow Unison card with a specified cost of 2 in play. You may choose up to 2 of your energy, switch to active mode, then choose up to choose cards in your life, empty your hand until you have 6 life left, and flip this card over. And then on the backside, when this card attacks, draw 1, and then permanent. If you have a yellow Unison card in play with specified cost of 2 in play, when a player plays a battle card, that player can't play battle cards for the turn. Now this one's pretty nuts. I will say. I think this is a really good ability. Pretty much locking your opponent to playing only 1 battle card a turn, and then also that battle card, if you're using it in conjunction with this -1 ability, your opponent can't, if they cheat out something when they play the battle card, then they can't do that. And also it applies for like your turn. So if they can only arrival 1 thing out a turn also, as long as you have your Unison cards. So I think this one's more interesting and more powerful. It's also an alien and a Universe 11 leader, and just being a Universe 11 leader in general, I think has some boon, and Pride Troopers as well. So this one I'm more excited about. It looks like it's more like a control lockdown deck, which I think like Universe 11 kind of is that idea of like locking your opponent down from doing stuff anyways, and then going off. So I think this is the cooler of the two. And that's really it. So thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think about these cards. Once again, I think they're being delayed till May 29th, but I mean that doesn't stop anyone from playing on Untap and stuff. So I'll probably try to make a deck for these. I'm not sure. I don't know. I feel like the red Vegeta one's probably going to be more difficult in everything, but I have to look through all the cards. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.